Welcome back. Cyclone Freddy, now downgraded to a tropical storm, has been lashing Malawi. 190 people have been killed in Malawi alone after mudslides washed away houses and sleeping occupants. The storm barreled through Mozambique for a second time at the weekend, packing winds and torrential rain. We're now joined by Estacio Valoi, investigative journalist from Mozambique. Mr. Valoi, thank you for being with us. Can you tell us where you are in Mozambique and what's the situation where you are?
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm in north of Mozambique, and the situation here is a little bit calm, despite that a few days ago, as a consequence of the storm, example in Pemba, end up having floods or considerable rain, where result in 5 deaths. I'm talking about children. And if you go a little bit down to Nampula, they also face similar results. But the epicenter this time was in Zambezi province in Kilimani city.
So 5 children dead. Do you know the death toll from the weekend, from the last few days overall?
About the last few days, I will go straight to Zambezi province, exactly in Kilimani. The result of 10 deaths as a consequence of the storm. But before the second time around of the cyclone, I do recall that we registered about 10 deaths as a generic result, and several infrastructure were also destroyed. And if you look to Kilimani province, there are floods in almost all the streets, infrastructure destroyed, lack of electricity. And when I had a conversation with the mayor of Kilimani, Manuel Darouge, he told me on the second, not on the second, the day before the cyclone, of course, that were prepared to face the cyclone in terms of goods, which they were stored in order to supply people. But it seems like the cyclone was severe and they couldn't really manage not only to avoid it, but also to prevent as they intended to.
How sad. It sounds like the second landing was worse than expected, and this is a very long-lasting storm. It's barreled through southern Africa twice now. So the second time it made landfall, can you compare that to the first time?
Yeah, if you look to the first time, despite that other provinces in Mozambique were affected, not as the epicenter, were affected because where the several rain, where the winds which were at high speed, where the house completely destroyed. We had roads, some flooded, some destroyed. If we look to the first cyclone and the second one, I think the second one did cause major damage. And I'm not only looking to what happened, example, in Kilimani. If we go a little bit further, example, to Malawi, we can even realize that more than 100 deaths were registered according to the official information. Yeah. So the situation is still chaotic, and they still register rains, but with low intensity, example, in Kilimani, at least until the noon or the afternoon, they were registered rain, and the temperature did decrease as well. And above all is the social and economic situation of the people living in Kilimani. And looking to Kilimani, as I could follow, the situation is that they can still feel the cyclone. Of course, the cyclone is passing, but they can still feel. If you look to Kilimani, you go a little bit farther to other districts, you will realize that it's vulnerable in all the sense. I heard that the Mozambican National Institution for Disaster Management did allocate about 40,000 tons of goods, but of course people are still asking where are these goods because nobody can see it. So I think the situation is still chaotic in this stage.
Can you be more specific? So these goods, are they going to shelters? Are people gathering in shelters if their homes have been flooded? Are you seeing the response on the ground? Are there still rescue operations if people are stranded because of the rains?
Yeah, there's an operation because before the cyclone, the municipality was already organized using the I think they call it Unity for Rapid Intervention, where, as I was saying, they did store some goods, water as well, which according to the municipal president, this could last or could be enough to supply, or at least to help all those people in need. And they were also organized place where to accommodate the people in need. So looking to what the mayor said and what the people in Limane told me when I spoke with them, is that, yeah, things are being done, but they need more, mainly because the storm or the cyclone was really heavy.
Yeah, it sounds like the second landfall, as you suggested, worse than the first. Can you believe it came back? And some missing supplies there. We will follow the situation on the ground. Thank you very much to Estacio Valoi, investigative journalist, speaking live there from northern Mozambique.